attempted to resign after a video of him making offensive and derogatory remarks surfaced. With the University of Kansas set to demolish Oliver Hall this coming summer, the Lawrence Humane Society is now offering free pet vaccine clinics with the help of local and national donors. The crazy part about KU's campus's construction is that it's almost entirely privately funded through endowment. However, through a conversation with Patrick Zoldner, KU travels to West Virginia this week to play the Mountaineers on Friday night at 6 p.m. The University of Kansas' main mode of transportation is the KU bus, which, since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, has seen a decrease in passengers. And the reason behind those decreases may be because they have to wear masks.
Yeah, there's a noticeable difference whenever the weather's warm.
No, it's pretty cold out, so I don't think it matters. We're all going to ride the bus anyways.
Policy on the KU buses has had mixed opinions received by students, but will it keep you from riding the bus? I've been Cyro Asseo. Education Commissioner Randy Watson attempted to resign after a video of him making offensive and derogatory remarks surfaced. However, the State Department of Education called a special meeting and unanimously decided to reject his resignation and to suspend him for 30 days without pay. Unfortunately, the history of Native Americans is painfully and largely absent from the educational curriculum reflecting the cultural genocide of the indigenous peoples.
I didn't know that there were 4 federally recognized tribes in Kansas for a while, and that's just because I wasn't told on it, I wasn't educated, which is scary because you would think, me growing up too, like you said, you can't know everything about everyone. There's so much diversity within indigenous peoples.
Going through high school here in Kansas, we learned very little about Native American culture and just anything about them in general.
The curriculum should be changed according to the present times, and I think they should ask the tribal elders or the people over on the reservations or just in the local areas, whether it's near a reservation or not, and then
hopefully more Kansas citizens will take up with their neighbors to help promote the change that is needed to be done within the Kansas State Department of Education by updating their curriculum teachings to have the cultures and civics of indigenous and native people included. I'm Cyro Asseo with J552. With the University of Kansas set to demolish Oliver Hall this coming summer, it raises questions about how the university's setting might change with the coming years, as the University of Kansas is committed to reducing the cost of facilities by decreasing the amount of buildings that aren't being fully utilized. Now, that makes you wonder, because if you were to stand in the middle of Jayhawk Boulevard, you'd notice Frazier Hall overlooking the mixture of historic and new buildings with similar red roofing that surround the boulevard. And it makes you wonder, how have they been able to keep all these older buildings and historic buildings, and how are they going to be able to reduce the amount of buildings that they have on campus if those buildings are historically preserved? The crazy part about KU's campus's construction is that it's almost entirely privately funded through endowment, and the rest is funded for research-based purposes. A conversation with Mark Resecki, the University of Kansas Director of Facilities Planning and Development, gave us more insight about the goals of the KU campus plan.
You go through a submission to the state of Kansas, to the State Historic Preservation Office. If they agree and approve that property and say, yes, it can be on the National Register, and it either has to be something significant had to have occurred there, it has to be significant architecture, it has to meet a criteria of the National Park Service. So once they deny that request, the university has one option available after that, and that's to ask the governor whether a building can be raised.
Mark Resecki explained that the removal of buildings that are underutilized is a necessity for accomplishing the KU plan that they've envisioned.
The reality of it is, with enrollment numbers, we've got more square footage than what we really need to function as a university. The pandemic has probably even made that more significant because we've got people working from home instead of working from campus.
However, through a conversation with Patrick Zoldner, the Director of Cultural Resources Division of the Kansas Historical Society, he alluded to some discourse between the Kansas Historical Society and KU over the removal of historical preservation of their buildings, because they believe that those buildings should be repurposed instead of being razed.
KU uses that all the time. They've received tons of money from the state using that program, so it's transferable. They don't pay taxes, so they transfer the credits, but that is, they sell them.
I'm Cyro. This is J552 News.